Kahit mabuti ang hangad, andang patanggap sa laging magilang. Pamilya na siya habang
Wala ka pinahin ako tumatay! Dahil hindi ka dapat kanin!
karanasan niya na tumaas para pagbalin sa kasalan. Manit na sa mga sakit hanggang sa kami pagtapos ng pait at matamis ng tagumpay sa kwento ng isang batang Quiapo.
Kanye, karanasan ng duro, bumbilya lang sa utak ang kuryente na sa puso at pakita ni Makbungay pangilas tungay pagkukuha ng suso sa manambare ng gabi ng pagtapos sa mga ilanang madilim na landas sa palabas isupitan na ito ang wakarang pagkatalik na sa buhay ng nanay mo sa pagbawa kong babayang dinasal
Mga akli gumigas ang kumalaban ng lahat Di mo pamandiya sa fasa na
bakit niyo ko alam tatay? Sino kaya ako?
Ang iyong mapapusi ang ilagay sa mapanuring syudad ng ato Mga sinasama sa paningin ng mga tao na malila Malaging binibilang, wala ka ni sinigang Hindi man lang makita ang kabilang parte ng kila Bariyang hinagas ng napawi ang labis sa pangungila
Sa layo naman ang bulungan siya ay pinagbubulungan. Walang kita tatakutan kaya di kasi.
Kailangan namin ng matutuluyan. Tandaan ninyo ang ayaw ni Kuya Al ng maingay.
Bakit naman bigla ka na lang nagmukmuk dyan?
Naiisip ko kasi si Marites Ano na kaya ang lagay niya?
Lumabas ka dyan! Ramon! Balik mo sa ko! Hayop ka! Malis ka na! Bago uminit ang ulo ko! Hindi pa tayo tapos! Babawi ko asawa ko! At ibabalik ko sila sa kulungan!
Alam kong higit lang kayo kaya nyo nagawa to. Ako na ang gagawa ng paraan. Tutulungan ko kayo.
Teng, nahuli ko na yung pera sa basura.
Kung may mangyari mang masama sa kanila, kagagawan niyo ng tatay mo.
Sako, gumagalaw yung tracker.
Ay, saan tayo? Yung basurero! Bilis! Kami!
Nay, may mga humahabol sa akin.
Dalian nyo! Sige na, sige na!
Habang may panahon pa, tumakas ka na. Itakas mo na ang buong pamilya mo.
Sabi ng manahimik ka, di ba? Papatayin talaga kita!
Sandali! Sandali! Wala! Check nyo, number 42!
Wala!
Labot!
10:15 na. Wala pa sila, Papo. Isa lang ibig sabihin na to. Inuunsi kami ng tatay mo. Baka patay na sila.
Dun! Dun! Bilis!
Gracia, mag-iingat ka.
Salamat.
Sundan namin yung tracker ha. Dito muna kaya abangan ninyo.
Sige.
Tara!
Isinilong ba talagang papatayin mo ako?
Kailangan.
Ibatok mo.
Mayeng! Hinahabol si Gracia ng mga lalaki baka mapahamak ang anak ko!
Sige, pupuntahan ko si Gracia. Gagawa ko ng paraan. Mauna na kayo doon sa tagpuan. Sige, sige, bilis! Doon! Dito! Dito! Bilis! Dito! Gracia! Ayos na?
May mahabol sa amin.
Mauna na kayo sa tagpuan.
Bilisan mo. Huwag mong gawing mamamatay tao ang anak natin, ha?
Mayaw, sige na! Tara, bilis! Sige na! Alino! Gagawin natin!
Sige. Putok na.
Putok mo! Ate, ito, nakuha ko yung pera.
Si Mamo!
Ayos lang sila. Sina, dali mo sa tanggol sa ilog.
Sige po!
Dali, dali. O, sini, tanggolin na. Ate mo pera. Bagay na ito si tanggol. Bilis!
Handa ka na ba?
Handa na po.
Game na!
Baka nervous to, ah. Is someone making you happy?
Hey guys, today we're diving into another truly horrifying case. If you want to support my channel, make sure to subscribe and stay active. It really helps me out. I'd be super grateful for that. Let's get started. Unsolved high-profile crimes have always carried an air of mystery and even a hint of the supernatural, often becoming the subject of intense discussions, speculation, and even academic research. The louder the case, the more it is discussed across the media, increasing the chances that one day it might inspire a dramatic or documentary film or a book, bringing new people to explore the story from entirely different perspectives. Moreover, acts of wrongdoing for which no one is held accountable can highlight gaps in the legal system and raise difficult but critically important questions about justice, ethics, and morality. The case of the mysterious disappearance of a young college student, Adrian Celeste Salinas, shook the entire state of Arizona in 2013. Hundreds of officers, volunteers, and concerned citizens joined the search efforts. It's likely that Adrian's remains would have never been discovered if not for a sudden and fierce natural disaster. It seemed as if nature itself was trying to assist in solving the case. Sadly, the full truth behind the tragic loss of this bright young woman remains a mystery. Authorities had at least a couple of individuals they considered persons of interest, but they were never able to prove any connection due to a lack of solid evidence. Despite massive media coverage and public interest, the true circumstances surrounding Adrian's fate remain unresolved to this day. Adrian Celeste Salinas was born on November 5, 1993, in Phoenix, the capital of Arizona. She was the first child of Rick and Pauline Salinas. 2 years later, their family grew when their son Nathaniel was born. It seemed like they had a long, happy life ahead of them. But sadly, shortly after Nathaniel's birth, Pauline fell seriously ill. After several years of battling a relentless illness, she passed away at a young age. At the time of this heartbreaking event, Adrian was just 5 years old, and Nathaniel had only recently turned 3. Left a widower hour, Rick took on the enormous task of raising his son and daughter alone, working tirelessly to provide for them while making sure they always felt loved and supported. He became both a father and a mother to them, carrying the full weight of care and upbringing on his shoulders. Rick balanced a job at a local company with coaching activities at the school where Adrian and Nathaniel studied. This allowed him not only to earn a better living, but also to spend more time with his son and daughter, staying close to their interests and hobbies. He coached Nathaniel's football team and led Adrian's volleyball practices. The bond between Rick and his son and daughter was incredibly strong. Adrian and Nathaniel shared everything with their father, their troubles, their worries, and their dreams. They trusted him completely and knew he would always be there for them no matter what. Adrian grew into a cheerful, open-hearted, and incredibly friendly young woman. She had no trouble making friends, and people adored her for her sincerity, kindness, and sense of humor. She was also stunningly beautiful with a model-like appearance and an athletic figure which naturally attracted a lot of attention. When Adrian was 14, she met a young man named Francisco Artiga. They hit it off immediately. Francisco was only a year older than Adrienne and attended the same school. They quickly discovered they had a lot in common and began seeing each other almost every day. What started as a friendship soon evolved into a romantic connection by the time they reached their senior years. Adrienne felt deeply for Francisco. It was her first true and powerful love. On the surface, it seemed like Francisco felt the same. They were often seen together, and their circle of friends regarded them as a happy couple. During their teenage years, Francisco became Adrienne's first serious romantic experience. However, despite this closeness, he refused to define their bond as a committed relationship. He often said he was too young to settle down, that he still wanted to enjoy life freely without any constraints. Francisco openly met and flirted with other girls, sometimes getting involved in brief flings. Yet each time he would eventually return to Adrienne without offering any explanations or apologies. He knew Adrienne's feelings for him were strong enough that she would always take him back. Despite never making promises about a future together, their emotional connection remained deep and they could never stay apart for long. As for Adrienne, she patiently waited, hoping that eventually Francisco would realize they were meant to be together. She tried not to show her jealousy, even though it hurt every time she saw him with someone else. Adrienne remained loyal to Francisco, believing that her love and faithfulness would eventually be recognized. Over time, it seemed like Francisco was starting to take their relationship more seriously, and Adrienne believed they were growing stronger together. Unfortunately, that turned out to be just an illusion. Back in high school, Adrienne had already decided she wanted to pursue a career in journalism, and she moved confidently toward that goal. After graduation, she enrolled at the prestigious University of Arizona, majoring in broadcast journalism and public relations. Even though Adrienne continued her education in her hometown, she chose to move out of her family home and start living independently. She settled into a spacious apartment located in a quiet neighborhood, which she shared with two close friends, Alexandra Rios and Ashley Dugan. The three had been close since high school, trusted each other completely, and had a strong bond. Each of them had their own room, giving everyone personal space while maintaining a comfortable living arrangement. Rick supported his daughter's decision to move, especially since she chose a place just a 20-minute drive away from the family house. They spoke frequently over the phone and could visit each other anytime. On her 18th birthday, Rick had gifted Adrienne a car, making it easy for her to come home nearly every other day. College life suited Adrienne well. She excelled academically and enjoyed a vibrant and busy social life. However, during her second semester, Adrienne started experiencing a persistent, severe cough that refused to go away. At first, she thought it was just a regular cold, tried treating it at home, and hoped to recover without needing a doctor. Unfortunately, her condition worsened rapidly. Breathing became difficult, and coughing fits plagued her day and night. Adrienne continued to ignore her symptoms until one night she had to be rushed to the hospital by emergency services in critical condition. Doctors diagnosed her with an advanced fungal infection that had severely damaged her lungs. The situation was so serious that Adrienne had to undergo emergency surgery to remove a large part of her left lung that had been irreversibly affected. Despite the severity of her condition, Adrienne's young body fought hard, and she recovered quickly. She was discharged from the hospital within a month and continued her recovery at home. Just a few weeks later, she was back at university, easily catching up on her coursework. On June 14, 2013, Adrienne and her roommates decided to throw a party at their apartment to celebrate one of their birthdays. About 40 guests attended, including Francisco. However, according to those present that night, Adrienne spent most of the evening alone, locked away in her room. The reason behind her isolation was an argument with Francisco that happened shortly before midnight. The young man had been openly flirting with another girl at the party, ignoring Adrienne completely. It's important to note that Adrienne had remained loyal to Francisco, never entertaining attention from other guys, and had hoped he would respect her in the same way. Yet Francisco continued to insist that he wasn't ready to settle down and didn't want to be tied to any commitments. Their confrontation escalated, and after a brief but emotional exchange, Adrienne locked herself in her room, hurt and upset. Later, Francisco knocked on her door and they spent some time together in private. Afterward, they both left the apartment. Sometime later, Adrienne returned alone. She entered her room, grabbed a few belongings, and left again. That was the last time anyone saw her. The following day, Alexandra and Ashley woke up around noon dealing with heavy hangovers. The apartment was a mess. Trash, empty bottles, disposable plates with leftover food scattered everywhere, broken furniture and clothes tossed around. As the roommates started cleaning up, they initially didn't realize Adrienne was missing. They assumed she was sleeping behind her closed bedroom door and didn't disturb her. Even after realizing Adrienne wasn't in the apartment, her roommates didn't immediately raise the alarm. They simply assumed she had stayed over at Francisco's place, remembering that the two had left the party together. As a result, nearly 2 days passed without anyone looking for Adrienne, unaware that something far more serious might have happened. June 16th arrived, Father's Day in the United States. Rick Salinas was eagerly anticipating his daughter's visit as they had always celebrated the day together as a family. But Adrienne didn't show up, nor did she call, and her phone was turned off. This immediately worried Rick, and he decided to drive to his daughter's apartment.